I still remember the day it all began, a seemingly mundane afternoon that would forever alter the course of my life. I was sitting in my modest apartment in the heart of the city, scrolling through my emails and reviewing my monthly expenses, when one particular charge caught my eye. The amount was unusually high, a gourmet meal billed at an upscale bistro I'd never visited. My credit card statement displayed the transaction in bold, as if it were a secret message meant only for me. At first, I assumed it was a simple mistake, perhaps a mix-up with a friend's card, or an accidental swipe at a trendy restaurant during one of those rare nights out. Yet, as I scrolled down to view my digital receipt, I discovered details that didn't match any memory I had. The description read, La Belle Époque, Gourmet Dining Experience. I hadn't made any reservations, nor had I even heard of this establishment before. My heart pounded as I tried to piece together how this charge could have found its way onto my statement. Curiosity mingled with a creeping sense of unease. In that moment, I decided to investigate further. I began by retracing my steps over the past few days. I scrolled through my bank notifications and reviewed my travel logs. There was no record of me venturing into any upscale district, nor had I authorized any extravagant spending recently. And yet, there it was, an unmistakable charge for a meal that, by all accounts, I hadn't consumed. Unable to shake the feeling that something was amiss, I turned to my trusted online search engine. I typed in the name La Belle Époque, and was met with a handful of references to a legendary restaurant known for its exquisite cuisine and secretive ambience. It was a place whispered about in elite circles, exclusive, elegant, and shrouded in mystery. The idea that my credit card had been used there without my knowledge was both fascinating and alarming. I spent the rest of that afternoon wrestling with conflicting emotions. Was I the victim of some elaborate fraud? Or had someone, somewhere, deliberately used my identity to pull me into a world I never knew existed? The charge was more than a mere monetary transaction. It was a key, a tantalizing invitation to a realm where gourmet meals were more than sustenance. They were clues, signifiers of secret encounters in venues that exuded elegance and hidden meaning. That night, as I lay awake listening to the hum of the city outside my window, I resolved to uncover the truth behind that mysterious charge. Little did I know that this quest for answers would soon lead me down a rabbit hole of clandestine meetings, sumptuous feasts, and encounters that defied both expectation and convention. The next morning, I took my investigation a step further. Determined to learn more about La Belle Époque, I ventured out into the city's less-traveled streets. The charge had ignited something in me, a hunger for understanding that was as insatiable as my newfound curiosity. I found myself standing in front of an unassuming building in a part of town that, until then, I had never paid much attention to. The facade was tasteful yet discreet, hinting at exclusivity without the ostentation of neon signs or garish advertisements. Inside, the decor was nothing short of mesmerizing. Velvet drapes, soft ambient lighting, and meticulously arranged floral centerpieces created an atmosphere of refined elegance. The air was filled with a symphony of soft jazz and the gentle clinking of fine crystal. I sat at a small table near the window, pretending to be just another patron indulging in an evening of gourmet dining. My eyes, however, were constantly scanning the room, searching for anything that might shed light on the mysterious charge and the world that lay beneath the surface. It wasn't long before a waiter approached me with an attentive smile and a menu that read more like a work of art than a list of dishes. The descriptions were poetic, each course promising flavors that transcended the ordinary. I ordered a tasting menu, partly to experience the meal that had been charged to my card, and partly to immerse myself in this hidden culture of fine dining. As I savored each dish, a delicate amuse-bouche followed by intricately prepared seafood and a decadent dessert, I found myself increasingly drawn into the ambience. Every bite was a revelation, every sip of wine a secret whispered by the chef himself. But it wasn't just the food that captivated me, it was the people. I noticed subtle nods exchanged between diners, discreet gestures that hinted at something more than a simple meal. At one table, I overheard a conversation laced with coded references, a name here, a date there, that suggested a network of individuals meeting in secret. It was as if La Belle Époque was not merely a restaurant, but a nexus for those seeking something forbidden, something that existed beyond the conventional world of business and pleasure. My mind raced with possibilities. Had my credit card been used as a ticket to this clandestine society? Was I somehow being drawn into a secret that I had no idea I was a part of? I couldn't shake the thought that every gourmet course, every carefully orchestrated moment, was a piece of a larger, intricately woven puzzle. After my meal, I requested to speak with the manager, a suave gentleman in a tailored suit who introduced himself simply as Monsieur Laurent. With a courteous smile, he confirmed that my card had indeed been used to book a private dining experience, a reservation that had been made in my name. "It appears there has been a misunderstanding," he said in a tone that was both apologetic and enigmatic. "We take pride in ensuring that every guest enjoys a truly exclusive experience. Perhaps it is fate that has brought you here tonight." His words sent a shiver down my spine. Fate? Was it possible that my accidental, or perhaps intentional, entry into this world was meant to be? I left the restaurant that evening with more questions than answers, but also with a burgeoning sense of destiny. The mysterious charge had unlocked a door, and I now found myself on the threshold of a hidden realm where gourmet meals were not just about exquisite taste, but about secrets and the promise of exclusive encounters. Days turned into restless nights as I mulled over the events that had transpired. Every time I checked my credit card statement, that one enigmatic charge beckoned me, as if challenging me to uncover its origin. Then, one crisp evening, a letter arrived at my door. It was handwritten on thick, cream-colored paper, sealed with a wax emblem that bore the image of a soaring phoenix. The envelope was addressed to me in elegant script, with no return address or indication of its sender. Inside, I found a single card, its message brief yet profound. "Your presence is requested at the rendezvous salon. Midnight. The key awaits those who seek truth in elegance." The note was cryptic, yet it resonated with the same air of exclusivity that I had experienced at La Belle Époque. The rendezvous salon, as I soon learned from a discreet online search, was an exclusive gathering of individuals who frequented hidden venues and shared an unspoken understanding of the world's finer, secret pleasures. It was a place where the powerful, the enigmatic, and the passionate converged, each driven by a desire to live life on their own terms. The invitation stirred something deep within me, a blend of apprehension and excitement. I had been drawn into this world by an accidental charge, yet now it seemed as though fate was actively inviting me to participate. With little hesitation, I decided to attend. I spent the next day preparing meticulously, choosing an outfit that exuded understated elegance and a demeanor that balanced mystery with openness. I wasn't entirely sure what to expect, but I was determined to embrace the unknown. As midnight approached, I made my way to a discreet location in the old district of the city, a converted warehouse that now served as the venue for the rendezvous salon. The building was surrounded by a low wrought iron fence, and a single lantern hung by the entrance, casting long, flickering shadows on the cobblestone path. I took a deep breath and stepped forward, my heart pounding in anticipation. Inside, the atmosphere was nothing short of mesmerizing. The space had been transformed into a wonderland of muted gold and deep burgundy. Lavish draperies hung from the walls, and antique candelabras provided a soft, warm light. Soft classical music played in the background, blending harmoniously with murmurs of conversation and the clinking of glasses. Guests mingled in small, intimate clusters, each exuding a sense of confidence and allure that was both inviting and mysterious. I soon discovered that the rendezvous salon was not just a party, it was a carefully curated experience. Every element, from the carefully composed background music to the artfully arranged floral displays, had been designed to evoke a sense of wonder and intimacy. I felt as though I had stepped into a secret chapter of a history that only a select few knew, a world where every detail was imbued with meaning. As I moved through the room, I was approached by several guests who greeted me warmly. One woman, in particular, caught my attention. She introduced herself as Vivienne, her eyes sparkling with a mixture of mischief and genuine curiosity. "I've been waiting for you," she said softly, as if our meeting had been predestined. "There are secrets in this city that only the bold dare to uncover. Tonight, you are one of us." Her words resonated deeply, and I found myself confiding in her about the mysterious charge that had set this journey in motion. Vivienne listened intently, nodding as if she understood the significance of every detail. "Sometimes," she mused, "an unexpected charge is more than just a mistake. It's an invitation, a sign that your life is about to change in ways you've never imagined." The sincerity in her voice bolstered my resolve. That night, as I mingled with the other guests and savored the ambience of the rendezvous salon, I began to sense that my life was on the brink of a profound transformation. Each gourmet bite, each whispered conversation, and every subtle glance shared among the attendees hinted at hidden narratives of love, ambition, and the desire to break free from the mundane. The world of exclusive venues was a realm where the ordinary was transformed into the extraordinary, and where every credit card charge, or invitation, was a gateway to something far more compelling. By the time the night drew to a close, I felt a sense of connection that was both exhilarating and unnerving. I left the salon with a renewed determination to follow the trail of clues that had been laid before me. The secret encounters, the elegant venues, and the gourmet meals were all part of a tapestry of mystery and desire that I was now compelled to unravel. And though uncertainty loomed ahead, I knew that I was no longer a passive observer. I had become an active participant in a story that was unfolding in real time. In the days that followed my encounter at the rendezvous salon, I found my thoughts consumed by the exquisite world of secret meetings and exclusive dining experiences. Every time I glanced at my credit card statement, that initial charge for La Belle Epoque echoed in my mind, a constant reminder that there was more beneath the surface of my everyday life. The invitation from the salon had opened my eyes to a hidden society of connoisseurs, each with their own secret rendezvous, and I was eager to learn more. One chilly evening, I received an email from an address that simply read no-reply@epicureanelite.com. The subject line was tantalizing: a new experience awaits. My pulse quickened as I opened the message. The email contained a single line of text along with a set of elegant graphics. Join us at Le Jardin Secret, where every gourmet meal is a prelude to hidden encounters. The name Le Jardin Secret evoked images of an intimate garden tucked away from the hustle and bustle of the city, a place where nature and artifice blended seamlessly to create a sanctuary of refined taste. Intrigued, I clicked on the attached invitation, which revealed a beautifully designed e-ticket with details about the event. The evening was scheduled for the following Friday at an undisclosed location. All the instructions emphasized discretion and elegance. There would be no public announcements, no social media hashtags, only the promise of a meal that would unveil a world of clandestine pleasures. I spent the next few days in anticipation, researching everything I could about Le Jardin Secret. Rumors in hushed tones on online forums and snippets in exclusive lifestyle magazines painted a picture of a venue that was more than just a restaurant. It was an immersive experience. Hidden behind unmarked doors and guarded by velvet ropes, Le Jardin Secret was said to host gatherings of the city's most discerning individuals: artists, entrepreneurs, intellectuals, and even a few well-known figures who preferred to remain anonymous. These were people who believed that dining was an art form, a medium through which secrets could be exchanged and destinies forged. When Friday finally arrived, I dressed in my finest attire, a tailored suit that spoke of quiet confidence and understated luxury. The instructions in the invitation guided me to an inconspicuous building on a quiet side street in an old part of the city. I arrived a few minutes early, my senses heightened with anticipation and a hint of trepidation. A discreet doorman checked my credentials with a knowing smile and ushered me into a dimly lit corridor. The air was cool and redolent of mystery, the walls adorned with vintage photographs and ornate mirrors that reflected fragmented glimpses of the past. At last, I emerged into what could only be described as an oasis of opulence. Le Jardin Secret was set in a sprawling atrium that combined the lushness of a botanical garden with the sophistication of a high-end dining hall. Verdant plants cascaded from artfully arranged trellises, and the gentle sound of water from a central fountain provided a calming backdrop to the murmurs of excited guests. The table settings were a study in perfection: gleaming silverware, crisp white linens, and crystal glasses that caught the light like shards of captured starlight. I was seated at a table by a large window that offered a view of the meticulously landscaped garden. As I settled in, I couldn't help but notice that I was not alone. Across the room, discreet conversations flowed between people whose eyes sparkled with secrets and shared experiences. There was a magnetic pull to the atmosphere, a sense that every detail had been crafted to evoke passion, to stir the soul, and to hint at connections that extended far beyond the realm of gourmet cuisine. The evening began with an elaborate tasting menu, each course more sumptuous than the last. The first dish was a delicate amuse-bouche that burst with unexpected flavors, a culinary overture that set the stage for the rest of the meal. With each subsequent course, my senses were awakened further. The chef, whose identity remained a closely guarded secret, had infused every plate with hints of mystery. There were edible flowers that melted on the tongue, sauces that whispered of exotic spices, and textures that challenged my very notion of what food could be. Yet, amid the sensory feast, it was the subtle gestures and exchanged glances among the guests that truly captivated me. At one point, as I sipped a vintage wine that seemed to carry the weight of centuries, I felt a hand lightly brush against mine. I turned to see a man in his late 30s, impeccably dressed and with an expression that was at once warm and enigmatic. He offered a quiet smile before returning his attention to a conversation with a nearby guest. In that fleeting moment, I sensed a connection, a silent acknowledgement that I, too, was now part of this secret tapestry of exclusive encounters. After the meal concluded, the lights dimmed, and soft music took over the space. The guests were invited to mingle in the garden, where lanterns cast gentle shadows among the foliage. It was there, amid the soft rustle of leaves and the murmuring fountain, that I found myself drawn into deeper conversations about art, philosophy, and the mysterious forces that seem to bind us all. The evening at Le Jardin Secret was not simply about gourmet dining, it was about forging connections, about exploring the unspoken bonds that tied people together in unexpected ways. As I left the venue that night, I carried with me not only the lingering taste of an extraordinary meal but also the sensation of being part of something far larger than myself, a secret world where every credit card charge, every invitation, was a doorway to hidden encounters that enriched the soul. In the weeks that followed my experiences at La Belle Époque, the Rendezvous Salon, and Le Jardin Secret, I began to realize that I was being pulled into a network of clandestine events, each one more exclusive and enigmatic than the last. The mystery that had started with an unexpected credit card charge had blossomed into a full-blown odyssey, one that challenged my perceptions of identity, loyalty, and the nature of desire. Late one autumn evening, as I sat in my favorite cafe poring over the events of recent weeks, I received a message on my phone that made my pulse race. The text was simple: "Meet me where secrets are kept, at the old library. Midnight. A." There was no further explanation, only a single initial. The message was reminiscent of a spy thriller, a plot twist in a narrative that I was now living out in real time. Intrigued, I found myself drawn to the venerable old library at midnight. The building was a relic of another era, its stone walls steeped in history and mystery. Inside, the corridors were quiet and dimly lit, the only sound being the soft rustle of pages as a few dedicated scholars delved into the wisdom of ages past. I wandered among the stacks, feeling as though I were stepping into a world untouched by the relentless march of time. In a secluded alcove, I spotted a figure cloaked in shadows. As I approached, the figure stepped forward, revealing a face lined with both weariness and determination. "I'm Adrian," the man said quietly, extending his hand. "I assume you've been drawn in by the same forces that have reshaped our lives." His voice was calm, yet carried an undercurrent of urgency. Over cups of strong coffee in a secluded reading room, Adrian revealed the existence of a hidden society, a collective of individuals who had, like me, stumbled upon this underground world through seemingly random events. He explained that the gourmet charges, the secret invitations, and the exclusive venues were all parts of an elaborate system designed to connect people who shared a thirst for a deeper, more authentic existence. This society, he said, was known as the Elite Connoisseurs, a group that transcended the boundaries of class, profession, and tradition to create a community united by passion, intellect, and a taste for the extraordinary. Adrian recounted tales of past encounters and clandestine meetings that spanned continents and decades. His narrative was punctuated by names, dates, and locations that were as tantalizing as they were elusive. Every detail painted a picture of a society that operated in the shadows, where every gourmet meal was a coded message, every elegant venue a stage for secret alliances. He described how some members used the network to challenge societal norms, while others leveraged it to influence power and change. Yet, above all, it was a space where the pure joy of fine dining and the thrill of hidden encounters merged to create an atmosphere that was both intoxicating and transformative. Listening to Adrian, I felt as though I were finally beginning to understand the layers behind the mysterious charges on my credit card. It wasn't about fraud or error, it was about destiny. Fate had chosen me to be part of this clandestine world, to experience life in a way that defied the ordinary and celebrated the exquisite. I wondered if my initial reluctance to embrace these secret meetings had been a remnant of a past self, one too afraid to deviate from a life of predictability. But now, faced with the undeniable allure of the hidden society, I felt a surge of liberation. Adrian invited me to attend the next gathering of the Elite Connoisseurs, a meeting that was set to take place in a refurbished mansion that once belonged to an old aristocratic family. The invitation, he explained, was extended only to those who had shown a genuine passion for the art of living, for the pursuit of experiences that transcended the mundane. I accepted without hesitation, eager to delve deeper into the mysteries that had so captivated me. The night of the Elite Connoisseurs gathering arrived with a chill in the air that seemed to herald change. I made my way to the mansion, a sprawling estate nestled on the outskirts of the city, hidden behind a veil of ancient trees and overgrown gardens. The mansion, though now refurbished with modern touches, still retained an aura of old-world grandeur. Stone arches, towering columns, and intricate stained glass windows created a setting that was both majestic and slightly foreboding. As I approached the entrance, a sense of anticipation mingled with a hint of apprehension. A discreet valet greeted me with a knowing smile and led me to a side entrance that bypassed the more public areas of the mansion. Inside, The corridors were dimly lit by soft, ambient lighting, and the walls were adorned with portraits of long-forgotten ancestors whose eyes seemed to follow my every move. I was soon joined by other guests, each dressed in impeccable attire that spoke of sophistication and an appreciation for the finer things in life. The gathering was held in a grand dining hall, its ceiling painted with scenes of myth and legend. Long tables were set with pristine white linens, gleaming silverware, and towering candelabras that cast dancing shadows upon the faces of those gathered. At the head of the table stood a distinguished man with silver hair and a commanding presence. He introduced himself as Monsieur Dumas, the curator of this secret society. His voice was both authoritative and gentle as he welcomed us to an evening of culinary artistry and clandestine dialogue. "Tonight," he began, "we celebrate not only the art of gourmet dining but the power of connection, of sharing our deepest passions in a world that too often shuns authenticity." Course after course was served, each dish more extraordinary than the last. There were flavors that transcended the expected, dishes that combined rare ingredients in ways that defied logic yet delighted the senses. Between courses, Monsieur Dumas invited us to share our own stories, tales of serendipity, hidden encounters, and the moments that had changed our lives forever. I listened, enraptured, as strangers transformed into confidants through the medium of shared passion and exquisite taste. During a lull between courses, I found myself seated next to a woman named Elodie. Her eyes were the color of deep mahogany, and her demeanor radiated quiet strength. Over whispered conversation, she confided that her own journey into this clandestine world had begun with a similar unexplained credit card charge, an invitation to a gourmet dinner that had opened her eyes to a hidden universe of possibilities. There was a kinship in our experiences, a shared recognition that sometimes the universe communicates in the language of mystery and indulgence. As the evening progressed, I became increasingly aware of the delicate interplay between the opulence of the meal and the undercurrent of secrets that permeated every corner of the mansion. Whispers of past intrigues, shared glances laden with meaning, and subtle nods to long-held alliances filled the air. I realized that every gourmet meal, every elegant venue, was not simply an opportunity to savor extraordinary cuisine, it was a stage for unveiling truths, for connecting with those who dared to defy the ordinary and embrace the extraordinary. By the end of the night, as the guests began to disperse into the cool night air, I felt a profound sense of transformation. The Mansion of Whispers had revealed to me that life's most beautiful moments often emerged from the interplay of mystery, elegance, and the courage to seek out experiences that lay beyond the surface. I left with a renewed sense of purpose, a determination to follow the trail of clues and encounters that beckoned me ever deeper into this hidden world. In the weeks that followed the gathering at the mansion, my life took on a new rhythm, a cadence defined by anticipation and the thrill of discovery. The credit card charges that had once been a source of confusion now stood as symbols of destiny, guiding me to secret encounters and exclusive venues that enriched my soul. Yet, as I immersed myself further in the life of the elite connoisseurs, I began to notice subtle threads unraveling in the fabric of this clandestine society. It started with whispers among the guests, a hint of dissent, of factions emerging within the society. Conversations that were once marked by warmth and camaraderie now carried an undercurrent of tension. Some members spoke in hushed tones of a betrayal, a breach of trust that threatened to expose the very essence of our hidden world. I found myself caught in a web of conflicting loyalties, wondering if the secret society was as inviolable as it once seemed. Late one evening, I received a message on my phone from an unknown number. The text was brief: "Not all that glitters is gold. Meet me at the abandoned train station at midnight." Ah! The message sent a shiver down my spine. Who was Ah, and what warning were they trying to convey? Despite the ominous tone, I couldn't resist the pull of curiosity. I resolved to find out more. The abandoned train station was a relic of the past, a sprawling complex of rusted tracks, decaying platforms, and shattered glass. The place had an eerie beauty, a ghostly echo of a bygone era. I arrived just as the clock struck midnight, my footsteps echoing on the cracked pavement. In the dim glow of a flickering street lamp, I saw a figure waiting in the shadows. As I approached, the figure emerged, a slender person with eyes that burned with both determination and sorrow. "You're not supposed to be here," the stranger whispered urgently, glancing around as if expecting unseen eyes to be watching. "The society is crumbling from within. There are those who have been using our gatherings for personal gain, leaking secrets, manipulating outcomes. What began as a quest for genuine connection is being corrupted by ambition and greed." Their words struck me like a bolt of lightning. Could it be that the very network I had grown to revere was on the brink of dissolution? The stranger introduced themselves only as a moniker, perhaps, a symbol of resistance. Over the next hour, I recounted a series of events that had shaken the foundation of the elite connoisseurs. There were whispers of clandestine deals, misappropriated funds, and even attempts to use the society's influence to sway political decisions. RS' voice trembled with a mixture of anger and despair as they revealed that the society's original ideals were being sacrificed at the altar of power. I left the train station with a heavy heart, my mind swirling with conflicting emotions. The world I had entered was far more complex than I had ever imagined, a tapestry of beauty, secrecy, and betrayal woven together in a delicate balance. I resolved that I would uncover the truth, not only to preserve the sanctity of the society that had so profoundly changed my life, but also to protect the integrity of the hidden world of gourmet encounters and secret meetings that I had come to cherish. Armed with the revelations from I began to observe the gatherings of the elite connoisseurs with renewed vigilance. At every sumptuous dinner, in every hushed conversation in elegant venues, I searched for signs of the corruption I had described. My instincts told me that a confrontation was inevitable, a moment when the hidden truths would be exposed, and the society's future would be decided by the choices of its members. That opportunity presented itself at an annual gala held at a secluded vineyard nestled in rolling hills far from the city's frenetic pace. The vineyard, known simply as Le Domaine, was renowned for its exquisite wines and its reputation as a haven for those seeking refuge from the mundane. The gala promised an evening of lavish feasts, inspiring music, and an air of camaraderie that had once defined the elite connoisseurs. But beneath the surface, tension simmered. As I mingled among the guests, powerful individuals draped in the guise of refinement, I sought out those I suspected might be complicit in the corruption. Whispers of discontent had reached my ears, and I could sense a growing divide between those who clung to the society's original ideals and those who had succumbed to the lure of personal ambition. I found myself gravitating toward a small group engaged in a heated discussion near the expansive terrace overlooking the vineyards. One of them was Madame Clarice, a woman whose reputation for impeccable taste and unwavering integrity had earned her a revered place within the society. Her eyes, sharp and discerning, scanned the room as she spoke with quiet authority. The elite connoisseurs was founded on the belief that fine dining and exclusive encounters could be a force for beauty and transformation, she declared. But now, we see that some among us have lost sight of that vision. We are being used as pawns in a game of power, a game that threatens to destroy everything we hold dear. Her words resonated with me, affirming the suspicions that had taken root in my mind. I knew I had to act. Later that night, in the shadow of the moonlit vineyards, I found myself face to face with a man I recognized from previous gatherings, Jean-Luc, a suave gentleman known for his charm and his discreet influence. I confronted him quietly in a secluded corner of the terrace. "Jean-Luc," I said, my voice low but firm, "what are you doing? Are you part of this corruption? I've heard that funds meant for our gatherings are being diverted for personal gain. Tell me the truth." He hesitated, his eyes flickering with uncertainty before he finally replied, "There are forces at work that even I cannot control. The society was meant to be a sanctuary of passion and art, but now it's become entangled in the machinations of those who seek power. I regret that I have played a role in this, but sometimes one is forced to choose between complicity and survival." His confession left me reeling, the gravity of our situation settling like a stone in my chest. That confrontation sparked a series of clandestine meetings with other members who, like me, were determined to reclaim the original spirit of the society. We exchanged coded messages, met in secret corners of exclusive venues, and planned a course of action that would expose the corruption without shattering the delicate network that had brought us together. Every step felt like walking a tightrope between idealism and danger. The night of the final confrontation arrived in a flurry of hushed voices and covert glances. At a meticulously arranged dinner in a private gallery, a venue chosen for its symbolic history of art and revolution, our group gathered to present our evidence to the society's leadership. With trembling resolve, we unveiled documents, eyewitness accounts, and even internal messages that pointed to the betrayal of the elite connoisseurs' founding principles. As the revelations echoed through the opulent room, a heavy silence fell. The luxurious surroundings seemed to shrink in the face of undeniable truth. Monsieur Dumas, the curator who had once been the living embodiment of the society's elegance, was forced to address the assembled guests. His voice wavered as he spoke of trust, tradition, and the need for unity in the face of adversity. "Tonight," he declared, "we stand at a crossroads. The future of our society depends on our ability to confront the darkness that has crept into our midst and reclaim the beauty and purpose that brought us together." His words, though measured, carried the weight of 1,000 unspoken regrets. In that charged atmosphere, I realized that the credit card charges for gourmet meals, the secret encounters in elegant venues, and the hidden network of the elite connoisseurs were all part of a larger tapestry, a tapestry that now bore the scars of betrayal, but also the potential for rebirth. The confrontation was not an end, but a beginning, a moment when the society's members chose to forge a new path, one that honored the ideals of passion, authenticity, and transformation. In the aftermath of that fateful night, the atmosphere within the elite connoisseurs began to shift. The confrontation had exposed deep fractures, but it had also ignited a collective determination to rebuild the society from its very foundations. As the dust settled, I found myself reflecting on the journey that had brought me to this point, from that mysterious charge on my credit card to the clandestine gatherings, the sumptuous meals, and the secret meetings in elegant venues. Every experience had been a stepping stone, a clue in a puzzle that was now revealing its true picture. I began to document my experiences in a leather-bound journal, determined to capture every detail of the transformation I had witnessed. The pages filled with memories of sumptuous dinners, whispered confidences, and moments of quiet introspection. I recorded the faces of those who had become allies, the names of secret venues that had served as havens for free spirits, and even the taste of wines that carried with them the legacy of generations. Through these writings, I came to understand that my journey was as much about self-discovery as it was about unveiling the mysteries of the hidden society. One rainy afternoon, while I was sifting through my notes in a quiet corner of a quaint bookshop, I was approached by a man with a gentle smile and an inquisitive gaze. He introduced himself as Gabriel, an independent journalist who had been following the whispers of the elite connoisseurs for months. "I believe that stories like yours," he said, "deserve to be told. The world should know that beneath the veneer of luxury and exclusivity, there exists a network of souls seeking truth and transformation." His words resonated deeply with me. Gabriel was not there to sensationalize our secret world, but to shed light on the human emotions and transformative experiences that had defined our gatherings. Over the course of several meetings in hidden cafes and quiet parks, we exchanged stories, each one more poignant than the last. Gabriel's articles began to appear in select publications, not as exposés of scandal, but as reflections on the beauty and complexity of a life lived beyond the confines of conventional expectations. As more members of the elite connoisseurs came forward with their own accounts of betrayal and redemption, a new narrative began to emerge, a narrative that celebrated the raw passion of gourmet dining, the exhilaration of secret encounters, and the indomitable spirit of those who dared to challenge the status quo. The society, once tarnished by greed and ambition, was gradually being reborn from within, its members united by a common desire to reclaim the ideals that had drawn them together in the first place. In a final act of transparency and renewal, Monsieur Dumas and the other leaders organized a grand symposium, a gathering that brought together every member of the society to discuss its future. The event was held in a renovated historic mansion, its walls now adorned with contemporary art that celebrated both tradition and innovation. Over the course of a long day filled with debates, heartfelt confessions, and impassioned speeches, we charted a new course for the elite connoisseurs, one that would honor the legacy of the past while embracing the limitless possibilities of the future. For me, the journey was a testament to the transformative power of unexpected invitations. That mysterious charge on my credit card had been the spark that set my life ablaze, propelling me into a world where every gourmet meal was a coded message, every elegant venue a portal to hidden truths. I came to understand that life, in all its complexity and unpredictability, was a tapestry of choices, each one an opportunity to redefine oneself and to seek out beauty even in the midst of uncertainty. As the symposium drew to a close and the members departed with hearts filled with hope and determination, I sat by a window in the mansion's quiet lounge, watching the rain gently patter against the glass. I realized that the true revelation was not in the exposure of corruption or the unveiling of secret networks, but in the rediscovery of the human capacity for resilience, creativity, and love. Our clandestine encounters, our exquisite meals, and even the accidental credit card charges had all converged to create a narrative that was as timeless as it was transformative. The days that followed the symposium were filled with a sense of renewal and cautious optimism. The elite connoisseurs, once fractured by internal discord, now embarked on a journey of rebirth. I continued my own path of self-discovery, carrying with me the memories of secret encounters and elegant venues that had reshaped my understanding of passion and authenticity. One crisp morning, as the first light of dawn filtered through the windows of my apartment, I sat down at my desk and opened my journal. I began to write about the experiences that had transformed me, from the enigmatic charge that had drawn me into a hidden world to the clandestine dinners that had revealed the power of human connection. With every word, I felt a cathartic release, as if I were reclaiming parts of my soul that had lain dormant for far too long. My story, I realized, was not unique. It was the story of countless individuals who had, in their own quiet ways, sought to break free from the chains of convention and to embrace a life of passion, creativity, and authenticity. The gourmet meals, the exclusive venues, the whispered secrets, they were all symbols of a deeper longing for meaning in a world that often seemed indifferent to the beauty of the human spirit. As I continued to write, I received another message, a final invitation from the society. This time, it was a simple email with the subject line, "A new dawn awaits." The message invited me to a sunrise gathering at a secluded beach, a symbolic farewell to the old ways and a celebration of the new beginning that lay ahead. I accepted with gratitude, eager to witness the culmination of my journey and to embrace the future with open arms. The beach at dawn was a vision of serenity, a vast expanse of golden sand meeting the gentle waves of the sea. As I arrived, I found a small group of familiar faces gathered in a loose circle, each of us united by the shared experiences that had defined our lives. The sky was painted in hues of pink and orange, a breathtaking canvas that symbolized both the promise and the fragility of new beginnings. Standing at the edge of the water, I took a deep breath and let the cool morning air fill my lungs. In that quiet moment, I felt a profound sense of connection, not only to the society that had once been shrouded in secrecy but also to every soul that had dared to seek out truth and beauty in unexpected places. The gourmet charges, the secret encounters, the clandestine venues, they were all threads in a vast tapestry of experience, woven together by the shared human desire to live fully and authentically. With the sunrise as our silent witness, we shared our hopes, our dreams, and our promises for the future. It was a celebration of life in all its complexities, a reaffirmation that, even in a world riddled with uncertainties, the pursuit of passion and the quest for truth were worth every risk. As the sun climbed higher into the sky, bathing the beach in radiant light, I felt an overwhelming sense of hope. My journey, which had begun with a mysterious credit card charge, had led me to discover not only a hidden society of connoisseurs but also the limitless potential of my own heart. In that final moment of reflection, I knew that the story was far from over. It was simply the beginning of a new chapter, a chapter defined by the courage to embrace the unknown, the resilience to rebuild what had been broken, and the unwavering belief that every secret encounter, every elegant venue, and every gourmet meal was a step toward a life of unbridled authenticity. I closed my journal, feeling the weight of the past and the promise of the future intermingled in a single heartbeat. The world, in all its mystery and splendor, awaited those who dared to look beyond the surface, to see that even a single credit card charge could be the spark that ignited a journey of passion, transformation, and profound human connection. As I look back on the winding path that brought me into this extraordinary world, I am filled with gratitude for every twist of fate, every unexpected invitation, and every secret encounter that redefined my existence. The gourmet meals and elegant venues were more than just settings for indulgence, they were symbols of a hidden society that celebrated the beauty of life beyond the ordinary. Through trials and tribulations, confrontations and revelations, I learned that destiny is not written in stone, it is forged in the quiet moments of courage and the whispered promises of the heart. My journey continues, a tapestry of flavors, secrets, and human connections that defy the constraints of everyday life. And though the mysteries may never be fully unraveled, I now embrace each day with the conviction that life's most profound truths are hidden in the unexpected, waiting to be discovered by those who dare to dream, to love, and to live authentically. This is my story, a narrative of passion, betrayal, renewal, and the eternal quest for meaning in a world where every credit card charge for a gourmet meal may just be the key to unlocking a secret encounter that changes everything.